My name is Laura Young, and I'm an environmental scientist and campaigner. On the 1st of January 2018, after being away with friends and family in Ely, in Scotland, and coming across lots of plastic pollution on the beach, I really felt like for 2018, my New Year's resolution should be something about being sustainable. And so I started to document that journey. And that was where Less Waste Laura was born.
A few years later, when walking her dog, Laura started to notice a new type of litter blighting the landscape.
But at the end of 2022, in October, I stumbled across what was then going to be my next big campaign, and that was disposable vapes. I would film them, I would document them, I would tally up how many I found, and I would map it out. And the average was 1 a minute. And one of the things that came to light was the number of people who were non-smokers and the number of children and young people that were taking up vaping because they were so cheap and so accessible.
The number of ambulances called to schools to help students for a vaping-related issue is on the rise, with many cases requiring hospital treatment.
As a school, we have been encouraging the students to become much more aware of single-use vapes and how they are marketed to young people. Students don't necessarily know the risks of the impact on their health and the environment.
Laura's social media campaign captured national attention.
We ended up on the radio, on the TV, going into schools, speaking to lots of other organisations, and of course then engaging politicians of every level and of every background, which was an amazing step for this campaign. I got in touch with every single councillor in Scotland, and from that we had 29 out of the 32 local Scottish councils take this forward to meetings, put motions forward and support a ban on disposable vapes.
As well as being an issue for public health, they are an issue for the environment, as covered by the campaign in the Daily Record today. Would the Cabinet Secretary support a ban on single-use vapes?
It will ask stakeholders with the relevant expertise to examine the evidence, and that will include consideration of a potential ban.
The campaign was incredibly quick, and from the first time I posted about it on social media until the UK government announcing that they were going to ban these, it was actually under 500 days.
Following Laura's campaign, a ban on disposable vapes was introduced in Scotland and across the UK on the 1st of June 2025.
It's hugely important that we celebrate campaigners like Laura to show other people that one person can make a difference to an issue.
And I do feel proud that this campaign started in Scotland and that we have had influence across the whole UK. But it is something that we have done before, and it is something that we pride ourselves in all the time.
Please welcome to the stage the Vape Crusader. It's Laura Young.
Laura, you are actually the prime example of saying to people, as you said in the VT there, that you can, one person starting something. I would like to say that for the last 2 years in my area in the East End of Glasgow, me and my pal Moira have been litter pickers out there with and the amount of disposable vapes and stuff that were there. We were those two old women in bobbly hats going around going, this is a disgrace, this is a disgrace. But in actual fact, the funniest was a guy who didn't recognise me from the cat, had the bobbly hat on and all that, who came up to me and said, is this for your community service? I said, yes, it is. No, I didn't. But so what did you first think, you know, when the idea came, did you just think, I need to do something about this? And did you think at that point we could get these banned? Or was it just an idea and then it snowballed from there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wanted to do something about them. They're such a nightmare for the environment. Yes. And there's also the public health element as well. And if I'm honest, at the end of 2022, I thought, well, I'll just start talking about it and see what happens. But very quickly, there was an amazing amount of individuals and organisations that came together to raise awareness, put out research, and of course, campaign for a ban. I didn't really have a lot of faith in whether we could actually do anything politically, sorry.
Oh,
but
shame.
We were, of course, happily surprised. And the thing that I am most proud of is actually the grassroots element of this. 29 out of the 32 Scottish councils came together, agreed on something, and of course put it to the Scottish Government, who put it to the UK Government, and then of course we've had this new piece of legislation, which is fantastic.
Well, we're always moaning about government. We're always moaning about local councils and government not listening and doing something. I think we can give them a round of applause.
We can, thank you.
So did this sort of start like, it seems to me it's also a story of how social networking can be a force for good. Would that be a fair comment?
Yeah, and you know, I would say a huge part of my work is on social media, and there is so much bad on social media, but I have so much faith in the power of social media for raising awareness. And I know that there's other influencers here and other individuals and organisations who use social media for incredible good. And I would say that if I was to add up, you know, the number of views or engagements on the pieces of content we put out there, it's millions, you know, it's tens of millions. And I think this just shows that if anyone is bothered about an issue, you might not be a politician or a business person or someone with influence, but you can start posting on your own social media or in your community about it, and it can snowball from there. So I've been really proud at how social media has played a positive role in this campaign.
You should be very proud. Oh no, big hands, big hands.
Yeah, come on. I think you can do that, just hashtag pure raging. That's what I'm going to have there about whatever it may be. So let's see who's going to be here to present you your trophy. Woo! So from STV News, please welcome the lovely and wonderful and also Pride of Scotland Judge Kellyanne Woodland, and one of our most respected actors, so stage and screen, including one of your favourite films, by the way, Local Hero, I guess. It is the fabulous Dennis Lawson. Into the middle, so everyone can see you.
Incredible.
I'm taking that back off you. There you are.
Laura, I just stepped back in amazement at what you've done, that you took this thing from a standing start on your own and drove it through, and eventually your local authority in Dundee cancelled these vapes, and then the Scottish Parliament, and they followed suit in 500 days. If I had a hat on, I'd take it off. You know what I mean? It's just gobsmacking what you've done. I want to thank you on behalf, obviously on behalf of everyone here tonight, but actually, I want to thank you on behalf of the planet. We need more people like you, Laura. Yeah. Loads more people like you, that's for sure.
Well done.
It's extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. So I, to be perfectly frank, it's a privilege to be on this stage with you. Thank you.
Do you know, Laura, I echo everything Dennis just said there, and being a newsreader for STV News, I'm well aware of your campaign, and in fact, just a few weeks ago, we were reporting on the ban actually being in force on June the 1st, and to think you were behind that, you drove that change. That is quite simply incredible. And as Elaine said, we happen to know you're a big fan of Local Hero, you know, the iconic film starring our very own Dennis Lawson. But we were just saying during dinner, weren't we, that if we were to pick a local hero, we would pick you, Laura.
Oh, there we are.
We really are, isn't that right, Dennis?
Hero, baby. You are our local hero.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Fantastic. Please give it up for Kellyanne, for Dennis, and for the wonderful Laura Young.